In the darkest nights, we find our light. Battered souls, but we won't lose sight. Surviving together, never alone. Through every trial, we carry on. Surviving together, never alone. Through every trial, we carry on. Surviving together, we stand tall. United forever. Strength and courage will overcome. Surviving together, victorious. Never, never alone. Hand in hand, we'll face the unknown.
We see you, we hear you, and we believe you. Hey, everyone. How you doing? So glad that you could join me on a Wednesday. I made it, finally. Ugh, I've worked 12-hour days this week, but I made it. I was not going to miss this live. So for the life of me, because I need it as much as you guys do. So today, what are we going to talk about? We're just going to talk about self-care, really. We're going to talk about knowing your limits, where your boundaries are, when you got to say no, all that good stuff. So I know a lot of us have been going through some things, and it's time too to talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you've got a topic or something that's been weighing heavy on your mind, I know I've got some things I want to get off my chest. So bring it on. Anybody, and this goes to all the time. If you ever want to join me on screen, you're more than welcome to. Just need to let me know, and I'll send you the link, and you could you pop in and I'll put you up. So it's easy as that, just to let you know. All right, let's see what's happened in the comments section while I've been doing this. All right. We have Matrix Rabbit. So glad you are here. Put some ones up for Matrix Rabbits, guys. He is recovering from some surgery and some heart issues. So he's a trooper for even being on here today. So I thank you. Thank you very much. Crystal, so glad you could be here. Shannon as well. Let's see. I think that's all we got for right now. I don't know if many people got the notification. I know I only put it up this afternoon that I was going to do something. So, hey, it's just a little crowd. It's just a little crowd. So why did I choose this topic for today? I can never stay in the screen, guys, because I am just always moving around. I need a bigger screen. It has been a week. My stress level is like up here. The project that I'm working on is supposed to be done on the 31st. That's the deadline. It's deadlines that are set by the courts. I better turn that down. So it's not as if we can just, extend it for them. And I don't know if I got a job next week. So that's like stress number one for me, right? Stress number two with work is I've just been trying to cram so many hours in because I don't know if I'm going to be working next week or not. So I just want to get as much as, I'm milking this as much as possible, getting as many hours out of it as I can while I still got the work. So my stress level is getting up there a little bit. There were a couple little things I kind of forgot to do this weekend that I really should have done. And now I've got to do them like today, yesterday. So that's kind of like weighing on my head just a little bit. If I take a break tomorrow, it won't be a big deal. I'll get them done. It's not a huge deal. It'll take me 5 minutes for each of them, probably not too long, but it's just a matter of stopping and thinking about it, because I am just with my work. What else has been going on with work? Oh, yes. And I don't know why I have been reading these cases for 3 weeks. Okay. Most I have been doing a mass tort case with claims for sexual assault survivors. And I'm good most of the time, I mean, I always at the end of the day kind of take a breather. I play a jigsaw puzzle on my phone, or they've got like color by numbers, basically. I mean, something so mindless that I really don't have to think, and I'm not thinking about anything that has to do with work or home or, anything else like that, to make sure that I'm okay with whatever I did during the day and whatever I handled. And I have been good until this week. I will tell you that yesterday morning, I did a case that absolutely gutted me. I can't get into the details of it, obviously, but yeah, had to be pretty bad for it to affect me and my work. I can compartmentalize pretty well when dealing with other survivors, and especially if it's my work. I'm not dealing with the person, one-on-one. And this one just shook me. It just really shook me. Evil exists, guys. It really does. And I tried to take a break, but I had so much else work to do, and getting on to other ones actually was good for me. But I knew I needed this. I knew I needed to talk to you guys. I just needed to have the camaraderie, and get it all off my chest. My heart bleeds for this victim. The good thing is I've been speaking with more and more survivors, and I had been given permission to tell them about the channel. So several people actually requested it, and I gave them that information and some other resource information that they don't know about. I really wish when law firms take these type of claims up that there's also an information sheet like that would go along with it. Like, here's what you have to do for your legal stuff, but here's just a sheet of, hey, you're not alone. Here are some resources for you to go by, and maybe they do, and it's just stuff that I don't see. But if it did, it's not stuff that the people I was speaking to saw either. So they were really thankful, for it. And it's great. I just, I wish I could call up each and every one of them and tell them, hey, you're not alone. You've got a whole group here who gets it, Yay, Misha. Listen. We're just happy you're here. You can listen to me biatch for a while. So that's pretty much my work. So my stress is up because of the deadlines and not knowing what things are doing. And yes, Shannon, it is. It's more than a business for me. It really is. And I was happy. And I was really proud of the fact that actually came across when I was speaking to the survivors. It came across to the survivors. I have to be careful what I say, but it was noticeable. I guess I'll put it that way. It was noticeable that this is something that I am not just working the case, that my heart's in it for the sexual assault survivors. So I wish I could call up each and every one of them and tell you guys about here. So okay, guys, I try not to too much, but here in my bitch session, here is it for one. A person who is extremely close to me, or at least was extremely close to me, dropped off the face of the earth. Now, this happened before, lost his phone. Long story short, we got back in touch with each other at the beginning of the year, and it's been good sailing ever since. Says good morning to me every single morning. Text me, good morning. Every morning without fail. Sometimes not on the weekends because we're both doing stuff, but during the week, every day. Until Monday before last. Nothing. Hasn't responded to my texts. I think I'm blocked because it's like the same amount of rings before the voicemail picks up each time. I have no idea why. There was no argument. There was no fight. The last time we saw each other was an absolute fabulous time. I'm this close to driving down to his house to go, what the fuck? Because I don't do well without closure. No, Shannon, I don't know if he's okay. And that's the other thing. So my mind is going in all these directions. I don't know if he got into an accident. I don't know if, both his parents are in the hospital because they're, elderly. I have no idea. But if it was something to do with family, I would think that he would have 4 seconds to just say, dealing with a lot of shit, talk to you whenever I can type of thing. And so that's why I kind of go, well, maybe something happened. Here's why I don't think something did. I made one comment. It was the last comment that I made. It was the last text. He never texted after it. And I kind of had a little bit of a weird feeling that this might not cause an issue, but I wanted to see what he was going to say to it. We've been, like we said, we've been talking and communicating and everything. And his birthday was in 2 months. And I said, hey, should I come down for it? And we'll go out and grab a drink, or should I mail your present? That was it. Nothing. So yeah, I do think he's being a man-child. I honestly do. Todd, I think which sucks so freaking bad because we are so close. And you don't expect that out of somebody who you're really close to and you're really good friends with. I don't do well without closure. I do think things weigh on my mind. Just tell me I need space, I need time, I need, whatever, just because of what you're dealing with, but it's not as if, those good mornings like started getting less and less or anything. No, it was every single day right up until I made that comment, like on a Friday night, Saturday morning, something like that. Nothing since. And I think he took that and just kind of went, and I don't know, couple hours. A very doable drive. I could, if I wasn't working, I'd do it in the afternoon, or after work on Friday, I could be down there by 7 or whatever. So I am this close to going down and checking on him and seeing if he's okay. Um, and I'm more than willing to, if he is alive and breathing, to turn my butt around and drive 2 hours back home. It's just one of those things where I just I need to know if he's okay. So I don't, Shannon, I mean, you make a good point. You know, some people don't like getting older, and I know he may have his reasons for, um, you know, he's not where he would like to be in his life. Um, but really, are most of us? You know, you always think, oh, by the time I'm 40 or by the time I'm 50, you know, this is going to happen or that's going to happen. I mean, yeah, certainly not for me. I took a trajectory that kind of like went like this, and when I could have gone like this, you know. Exactly. We're never where we feel we want to be, at least, you know, most people. Um, I'm happier now than I was 6 months ago. I'm still under a incredible amount of stress, but um, you guys keep me going. You really do. This channel has, I'm doing a lot of uhs today. This Izzy, I was just thinking about you today. Oh my gosh, this afternoon I was this close to calling Jen and going, hey, have you heard from Izzy lately? It's so good to see you. So this is me bitching about a friend right now. So you can catch up a replay with that. Um, but you guys really do. I mean, it gave me a purpose that I was missing before. It's it was so easy to sit in my reading chair and just read or do something else, flip through YouTube, basically doing nothing productive, right? And now, at least, even if I'm doing not productive things that I should be doing, you know, like getting these tags for the car, um, I'm doing something that means something to me, and that I know the result of what I'm doing will mean something to somebody else. You guys have no idea how much you touch me and how much you do keep me going. I felt so horrid that I had to cancel the last two lives. I was just dead by 7. It's just, it really killed me. So I'm hoping there's going to be no more cancellations, and there really, really should be. Yes, we do all need a rant, buddy. You know, we need to be able to get things off our chest. And I know I've got some friends who'll just be like, rah, 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 rah. I'm like, I'm so sorry, I like word vomited all over you. And it's like, do you feel better? Did you work through whatever you needed to work through? I mean, sometimes it's not even working through. It's just, you know, I can't believe what this person was. And you just need to go, ooh, you know. So yeah, that's what that. There's somebody, I won't say he ticked me off today. I have a lot of guy friends, and usually it's pretty okay because it's smooth sailing, you know. You guys don't have a lot of ups and downs, not a lot of drama, whatever. But um, he kind of he ticked me off a little bit today. But whatever, whatever. That's what friends should be for. Absolutely, Shannon. And that's why I titled this, you know, Overwhelmed, Help, I Can't. You know, I mean, sometimes we all need somebody else to pick up the slack for us, whether that is, and I, when I was putting this together and I was thinking about self-care and knowing our boundaries and things like that, I was thinking in a couple of different ways. One is just you in your own, like mine here. I needed to check in with myself with my job, I needed to take a step back from that case. I had to take a break from it. I had to try and put some things together in my mind and then compartmentalize them so I could do the rest of my work and, then be sad for the survivor afterwards. And there's that self-reflection that you need to do just for you on your own in your everyday life. Now, it becomes even more critical when you've got somebody else who comes into your life, whether that be a friend or a parent or a child, especially if it's somebody who relies on you to take care of them to some degree. Because the caregiver fatigue is real. And they talk about that a lot in terms of taking care of a sick person. But I tell you, caregiver fatigue is apparent daily, and so everybody needs a break once in a while. And check in with yourself. Make sure you're doing okay. Make sure that you are getting the care that you need of yourself. If you need a break, is there anybody? It's called Clutching My Pearls. Yes, Izzy, absolutely. My pearls. A caregiver is exhausting. It's a tough job. It is absolutely, and really that's what a parent is, right? Mine just graduated. So Izzy, your daughter is just a cutest little thing, I bet. But I am thankful I'm on the other side of it. Except for the fact that he goes to work at 5, so he's out of here at 4:30. So at about a quarter after, I hear as he's going down the stairs, and the fridge door is opening and closing as he's making his lunch and everything. And it's like, oh. So that's why I've been able to work 12-hour days, because I've just gone, okay, I'm up. I'll just get up now and make a pot of coffee. Oh, geez. Who's got a new channel? Who's got a new channel? Channel name? Is that somebody? I've already had one mouse die on me today. I just thought this one, I thought this one died too. And that's, yeah, they, before your kids are old enough to really understand how to control their emotions, and really, I know a lot of adults who aren't very good at that. There's some bits of it that I'm not good at. I was never taught how to control my emotions when I was a kid. It was just like you were yelled at for not doing something right, not reacting the right way, or for reacting the wrong way. There wasn't anything, that way. Izzy, if you have a channel, I would absolutely love to know about it, and I'd love to put it up with the rest of ours on Surviving Together. Shoot me an email with it, would you, at survivingtogethersass@gmail.com, and I will hook it up on our list. So I've got a list of all of our friends, and I know that I'm probably missing some. So if you do have a channel and you see it's not up there on my page, please let me know, and I will add it to our list there. Perfect. Great deal. Great deal. So there's the caregiver fatigue aspect when you're expected to take care of somebody. Then there's just being a friend. And sometimes, as much as we want to be a friend to somebody, we can't in the way that they need us. And that really sucks because you don't want to let your friend down, but you need to know yourself and you need to know where your boundaries are and where your limits are. Because it may be that you are just so overwhelmed yourself, you just can't take on another person's problem. And even though you may not be taking it on and trying to solve it or anything, you may just be being an ear. You're still listening to that person's problem, and it's still going to affect you to a degree, because they're your friend, and you're going to feel sad for what they're going through, or you want to help. When your pot is full, your pot's full, and that is one of the hardest things, is to be able to tell people, no, I can't do that, or no, I can't listen to you. It may be because you're full. It may be because of what they want to talk about. And I say that in particular with our survivor community because sometimes there are some things that it might be a trigger for you. It might not be that aspect of it might not be something that you can communicate about. And so you need to be honest with them that, hey, I've got some other people you might be able to talk to about this. This is something that's really sensitive and it's going to set me off. I just can't. It's imperative, because if you don't, and you're just constantly taking on you are just going to go, and you're going to be no good to anyone, and even to yourself, and to any of the stuff that you need to get through. So I know this is a topic we've spoken about before here, but it will be a topic we will come back to over and over again, because it is something that is just so critical with survivors, things that go through our minds on a daily or a weekly basis. For me, I know it's definitely been daily because I've been dealing with the cases, so I cannot forget mine. Little memories will pop up here and there as I'm reading somebody else's case. And that's why you definitely want to make sure that you're checking in with yourself and having an honest conversation with yourself as to where you are with things. And if you need help, then you need to be willing to reach out and get that help. So help I can't can be taken in several different ways. But you gotta know where you're at. There should be a list on the page on the right hand, or I think it's maybe the left hand side. I'll double check, but a list of channels, subscription channels. I will check and make sure that it's still there and that everything's good. Our subscribers has been going, I think we're gaining and losing the same 3 subscribers, guys, every week. After Saturday, we were at 170. Now we're back to 167. We have just been gaining and losing these 3. I think this is where YouTube plays with it. And it's just like, okay, play with those 3 numbers. I don't really care. That is tough. That is tough, Misha. I mean, sometimes when you ask, the help isn't out there. And that's where you got to put your thinking cap on and say, okay, I still do need help. How can I get this? Let me reach out to so-and-so. Maybe they can't help, but maybe they know somebody who can. And that's where you start networking and seeing what you can accomplish that way. Oh, your channel is clutching my pearls. I gotcha. Oh, that is wonderful. I will definitely, after this is over, I will sub to that either tonight or tomorrow morning. Yeah, Ned, it can be really, it can be. I mean, when you're dealing with people and they've let you down so many times, that's where you need that's where you need the new network. That's where you need to start reaching out to other people and finding more, finding more. And it's not always easy. And sometimes it takes a while to be able to figure that out. Um, but reach out to as many people as you can and try not to rely on those other people who, have let you down over and over again. But you keep asking, somebody's going to say yes. Somebody's going to say yes, or yes, I know of somebody. Help is out there. It's sometimes not easy to find. And that's true. That's very true. Yeah, guys. For those of you who don't know, Steeris' channel is about toxic relationships. And I think that we can all relate to that, whether it's toxic in the workplace, whether it's been a romantic relationship that was not good, whether it's a family relation, that was never very good. And we spoke about that the other day when we were talking about decluttering and how some relationships may have to go by the wayside when you're decluttering people. And some of those decisions are very hard to make. And that needs to be no one else's decision but yours. If you want other people's advice, definitely take it, but don't let anybody else tell you that you have to cut that relationship off. Sometimes because of who they are or whatever, maybe just limiting the contact is the best thing instead of cutting them out of your life totally. It's so individual. Did you? Oh, good. I'm so glad you got some decluttering done. That's wonderful. Yeah, Izzy, there's there's some people who even sometimes you think, I'm not exactly sure on the level that you mean this, but I take this as in relation to my life, how I've had some people who they're there, but they're only ever going to give lip service to anything. And they're never really there for you. But they want you to be there for them whenever they need something. That drives me insane. Drives me absolutely insane. Good. Good. Misha, I'm happy. I'm happy that you're going to go through things. Absolutely. So when we oh great. Great, Misha. That's really good. Yep. Keep reaching out. Keep reaching out. And when we talk about self-care, we have to care for ourselves because really nobody else is going to. We're all functioning human beings for the most part, and no one is going to take up all the slack in our lives. So that's why, and I'm going to say this again, that's why having honest conversations with yourself about where you are in life, where you are with a certain chore, a task that you need to do, whatever the thing is, but be brutally honest with yourself. Because if you're sugarcoating it in your mind or thinking, no, I can do this. I really, I can do this. What you're really thinking is, I should do this. Therefore, I'm going to say that I can do this, that this is my job to do. This is what I'm going to handle because I think I should be able to. Sometimes we can and sometimes we can't. And so the self-care aspect goes to knowing our boundaries, knowing when to say no, knowing how to talk to ourselves and be as honest as possible with ourselves, and knowing how to spoil ourselves a little bit. Whether that's taking that bubble bath, whether that's taking a walk in the woods, whether that is driving aimlessly on backcountry roads, whatever that thing is that brings you some peace, that helps bring that blood pressure down. That's what you need to do for yourself. And it's different for everybody. And, sometimes it's just, taking a 5-minute break for yourself to be able to give yourself some breathing room and then be able to get back to something. Sometimes it's, I need an afternoon off. You've done enough and you need afternoon off. You need to be able to care for where you are and making sure that you're mentally able to handle what's in front of you. Because I know from personal experience, there is nothing more frustrating than wanting to handle something that's in front of you and you just can't, but you think you should, you want to, and the more you try, the worse the whole situation gets, and the more frustrated you get, and the more angry you get, and as soon as you know it, you want to throw things. At least with and me, my anger gets to that point where I'm just like, yeah. So let's catch it before we get to that kaboom stage. I gotta catch up on comments, guys. Hang on. Misha, you make a really great point. Just in terms of, what you're saying and some of the demons that you're fighting on a daily basis. And we're all getting older. Okay, none of us are spring chickens here. Some of us a little older than others. Some of us have some different challenges than others. But when you realize you can't do things that you used to be able to do, or you feel you should still be taken care of, whether that's from a mental standpoint or whether that's from a physical standpoint, that's really frustrating. I mean, that's coming to accept where we are in life. Sometimes there are things that we can change and we can get back. Sometimes they aren't. And accepting that this is our new normal. And how do I work around this then? Or how do I work with it, I should say? How do you work with whatever constraints you now have? Because I had to do that when I had my breakdown, there was still so much. My child was very young, and there was so much that I felt I should be handling, and I just couldn't. I could not do, I could barely take care of myself. Now, fortunately, some of that didn't last too long. And I was kind of able to go on autopilot a little bit, taking care of the bare minimum things. But in terms of actually moving forward, it took me a really long time to get back to where I felt that I was even some semblance of where I had been. And I will say that it took me all of my 40s. I had my breakdown at 40, not because I turned 40. It was a perfect storm of 3 different circumstances. And I couldn't handle it. And my brain just went, we're going to go on pause for a while. Donna, we're so glad you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Join us in our how do we get things done when we can't? How do we take care of ourselves? You can listen to the beginning where it was just really my bitch session about some things that have been going on for me. And you guys got to listen to it. So this is just as much right now about you guys. If there's things that you guys need to talk about or things that are going on in your lives, I am I'm not going to be speaking for 2 hours today. I can tell you that much because I've been up since 4:30. So we might be breaking at 8 tonight, guys. So it might be a shorter live than we're used to. But Saturdays definitely will be longer. Still not quite sure what I'm going to do on Saturday's live. Yeah, Donna, I didn't, it was kind of a surprise to me, that breakdown, actually. To have it planned would have been nice because it definitely was the least ideal time for me to have it. I'd love to say, and I deserve a breakdown now. Boom, I'm going to plan it for next Thursday. That would have been wonderful. And Michelle, I get this so much. I get this so much. And only you can know, right? Only you can know when you're looking at yourself, when you're honest with yourself, if whatever your situation is, if it is your new normal, or if there is something within that can change, something that can get better so that not all of it's a new normal. Only you can decide that. But what I hope for you is that you are that brutally honest with yourself. Because if it is something where it is the new normal, when we accept things that we don't like, it's about like going through the stages of death, really. It is. It's the death of something you used to be able to do, whether that's mentally or whether that's physically, or of a situationally wise. Once we get to that acceptance, we can actually move forward because we know what our boundaries are then. They've changed a little bit. But only you can know that for you. And I'm not going to say it is or it isn't. And sometimes things are definitely worth fighting for and can get better. And it may take years. But you keep fighting for it and you keep pushing through, and lo and behold, maybe one day it does change and it gets better, whatever that is. Um, I don't want anyone to suffer for years and years and years with something that if you had been honest with yourself, you would have said, this is not going to change. This is where it's at. I look at that with my dad. He's getting older, but he's a former Marine, and you don't quit and you don't not try. And to not being able to do things that he used to be able to do, that's been really tough. In the last few years, he's gotten better about it, but when it first started happening for him, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. He was not one to ask for help. So I knew that he had accepted his limitations when he started asking for help. And I look at those things with myself and think, where am I going to be? And it's just me. My son is going to move out one day, and I don't know. One of the things when I was getting through my meltdown, when I was getting better, trying to get back to where I was, is I was trying to get back to where I was before my breakdown. And one of the things I had to realize, I had to accept, was I'm never going to be that person again. It's just like after our assaults, we're never going to be that person we were before. But we can still be an awesome person. But there's going to be some changes. There's going to be some things that we need to consider more. Whether that's because you've got hypervigilance now, whether that's because a smell triggers you, whatever the case is. But understanding as well that doesn't have to be a bad thing. We can work within those limitations and we can become wonderful, great human beings. We're just not going to be that same one we were before. It's just like, and this really hit home, I think, with dealing with all these cases, because they're all childhood cases. For all of us who have had childhood SA, we're never going to know who we could have become. Because that abuse forever changed our path. So for me, at 4, my path was already changed. And then it changed again, and it changed again. And I do see some people, not here, not you guys, but some survivors who I've spoken with over the years who get stuck on this notion of, I'm not who I should have been. And I need to be that person because then that shows that I've healed. No. Now, there are pieces of ourselves that we may have given up over the years because of different types of abuse or just different types of situations. And when you read about it or listen to it in some of the literature, they talk about your authentic self and being able to reclaim your authentic self. And I think for us, it's not necessarily that it's a misnomer, but we have to look at what we feel is our authentic self inside. You know, who are we is what we're saying. And what that has to be is, who are we now? Is there a piece that I've buried that I can recapture? Maybe it has something to do with a childhood dream of something that you wanted to do. So maybe there is a piece of that you can recapture. Sometimes it can be like empathy. You know, you had to give that up because of your circumstances that you were in when you were a child, how you were raised, the discipline that you had, you know, whatever the case may be. So it is important that we look inside ourselves and we see that we think about who we really are, who, you know, what do we want out of life, what's important to us, you know, all those just core things that make us us. Just always realizing that us now is different than us pre-abuse. It's always going to be, just always is going to be. You are never going to get back to that person you were before. You're never going to get back on that trajectory of who that person, you know, could have become. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Shannon, I'm happy for you. And I know that sounds weird to say, but you get that. And I think everybody else here gets that. Because when you haven't been allowed to express a feeling for so long, or when you've buried that, you hadn't been able to, you know, when you were younger. And so you've just swallowed that all the time. To be able to recapture that piece of you that says, no, I have a right to be angry sometimes. Now it's how we direct our anger, right? And how we deal with our anger. I mean, that's the issue, but anger is just a feeling, and we have a right to feel angry about stuff. And so the fact that you were able to feel that is wonderful. And when I was coming out of my breakdown, you know, I just felt numb for the longest time and just really going through the motions. I got the bare minimum of what needed to happen to keep myself and my son alive and fed and clothed, and, you know, and that was all I could do. And that was just going through the motions. And so when you start to get back those feelings, that's a real sign of healing. So pat yourself on the back, congratulate yourself that's definitely a good thing. Wonderful way to put it. I've always been the total package, just got a little damaged during shipping and handling. Yeah. You know, our abuse did not change who we are as our person, as ourself. Did it change aspects of it? Yes. But it didn't take away that core of who we are. It might be buried, pieces of it might be buried, or we might have shoved it off to the side and we need to figure out how to get it back. But that those core pieces of who we are there. Oh, I'm reading backwards. Oh, yeah, you're hoping. I think you're right. I absolutely think it is, Shannon. Definitely congratulate yourself. Yeah, Crystal, for you, it's you have to deal with who you feel you were, at whatever point in time you felt the most whole. When the abuse starts so young, yeah, there's no way of knowing that. But I think that the pieces of who you are, when you think about yourself, I think that those are probably still there somewhere. I think that we grow with them. I think that we may not realize them. I think that I like to think that they're there somewhere. Donna is absolutely right, Todd. I'm not sure what she's referring to, but every step forward should be celebrated. And you know what? If you take 2 steps forward and you take 1 step back, you're still 1 step ahead of where you were. So you're still going to celebrate. Because if we don't celebrate those little wins, it can be so discouraging. Right? When I was talking about decluttering, I said do a half a shelf if you have to. Take it as small as you need. So whatever those wins are, whatever that movement forward is, whatever you've gotten that is better than it was yesterday or better than it was last week, celebrate that. For me, it's feeling like this. It's feeling okay. I don't feel great. And I'm not happy all the time. But I don't feel numb. I don't feel like I'm underwater. I don't feel like I'm not living my life, that I'm existing in my life. Does that make sense to anybody? Because I know people who haven't gone through traumas, that distinction can be very difficult for them to understand. But for a long time, I was existing within my life. I wasn't living it. I wasn't leading it anywhere. I was just breathing. And now I have a purpose. I have something that I want to see. I want it to see bloom. I want it to go somewhere. My work's still not as steady as I want it to be, but I got my son through high school. He graduated. He's doing great in his job. I'm never going to worry about him supporting himself. And so I'm going to take that win. So anytime you can celebrate your successes, do. I just have to celebrate them with 1 less bagel. Way too many carbs. And I'm not walking enough to get those off. I'll tell you that. I get that, Misha. I get those ants. I totally get those ants. Sometimes we just go, there's just too much wrong with me. I've 100% been there. Heck, I was just talking to a friend today about this, about whether or not I should even contemplate dating again because of some of the things that are wrong with me and some of the things that I know are in the works of potentially going wrong with me right now. And so, do I want to even bring somebody into that? I don't know. I'm stuck on that. I guess when it's right, it's right. I keep telling myself, I always, the person who I've been with, whether it's been a husband, whether it's been a long term boyfriend, that person has always come when I am absolutely involved in other things. I have put dating or meeting anybody on a back burner somewhere. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. So that I don't think about it and I get to do other things and try not to think about that. Yeah, Donna, I get that. Yeah, I was the exact same. I was the exact same. And it really has, the past year, past couple years maybe, that's really started to change for me. And that I felt that my head at least broke the surface of that water. I wasn't walking on top of that water. I'm still not walking on top of that water, but I'm treading really, really well. So on a consistent basis, right? Sometimes you lose and you sink and go, but you pop back up again a lot easier than I did before, at least. And I have people in my life who I know will help me. That if I am drowning, they're going to reach down and they're going to grab for me. That's what having real friends in your life is. That's what's so important about these connections and about meeting people who understand, who become our friends even outside these lives. And I know so many of you have. And that is just so fabulous. And I hope that continues for all of us. We have a wonderful SaaS community, and the more people connect outside of it, whether it's, with here, between other channels, different channels have a lot of same people, but there's some new ones who don't come to these ones. And as you're making all those connections, I understand your hesitancy, Todd. I really, really do. And I was that way for a long time. I had to get to a place where I was accepting of myself, where I felt like I had my pieces together enough to where I could warrant going out seeking other people. And on one hand, I think that I was right. And on another, I see how much easier some of those things would have been if I had somebody there. Even if it was just to talk to be able to bounce things off, to be able to just say good morning to every day. Even if you guys don't talk about anything else, somebody says good morning to you. And you guys have, I can't tell you what that meant to me. Somebody every day just said good morning. because I work from home. I don't see anybody. So I caution you. Only you can know if it's right. But I just caution you to maybe let some of these connections in. At least as far as having people to talk to and keeping the connections. Because if there's one thing that we all understand, it's having a train wreck of a life. I don't think there's a single person here or who's normally here who doesn't get that. Janet, so glad you're here. Was that a good thing or a bad thing, Shannon? That the person came in without an invitation? You know, I've had it be both, and so we do have to. Even though we open the door, we got to keep that screen door shut, right? So you just, they have to pass through that second little layer if we're gonna, let them all in. Bad, yeah. It's it can be tough. You want to believe the best in people, and so if you're opening the door for people to come through, and it really, really sucks when we discover they're either not who we thought they were, they end up being a toxic person, and that's life. And yeah, maybe that person will change and you'll be able to let them back in, maybe not. But if that's a good piece of decluttering, then definitely put that baby to the side and deal with the positive people in your life. Absolutely. No, and it's not easy. It's not easy, Todd. When we're in that position, it is very hard to let people in because I know I didn't feel like I didn't feel like I even had enough to offer back, Okay, they may offer their emotional support for me. Are they really capable of giving that back? And that's what I think is so wonderful about these connections is we all get it. And we know going into something whether, we're honest, I think, for the most part, with each other as to where we are. And so if my connection with you is just that I'll be someone who listens when you need to talk, but I don't have the wherewithal to be proactive in contacting you and doing those sorts of things, we can be honest with each other about that and say, well, this is where I am. These are where my boundaries are just because of the limitations that I have right now. Is that something that's going to be okay for you? Yeah, masking. That is definitely something that I did. And I think about it. I think about it when I first started dating. And that first date or two, and you put on that, you put on that air and everybody's got their best foot forward type of thing. And, people say after a few weeks, you finally get to know the real person or whatever. There came a point where I just said, screw it. I'm not doing this. If they don't like the quirkiness that's me, they might as well find out on the first date or the fourth. I don't want to go through all of this, for 3 dates and thinking, hey, this might be actually okay, when really, when they found out exactly kind of how I act and how goofy I can be and silly and stupid about things. If that's not their cup of tea, you definitely have to take those. I just said I'm not going to do it. I don't know that I don't know how many I have now. It's not really something I've thought about. Okay, maybe not everything on the first date. But my personality wise, if I'm gonna laugh at something that's stupid, I'm gonna laugh about it. I'm, if we're talking and I'm chill and I'm, slouched down in my chair, hey, this is what we're doing. This is me type of thing. I'm not gonna do that prim and proper, thing. No, no. I'm not gonna go to the first 3 dates made up and, perfect hair and trying anyway, and wearing makeup and the whole 9 yards. And it's like, most of the time I'm a jean and t-shirt or yoga pants and sweatshirt, I should say, for me. And I love for my first dates to be like that because, okay, here is what I am. You want to go to someplace nice? We'll go to someplace nice and I'll dress up and I'll wear some makeup. But otherwise, this is me 99% of the time. And you've got to like that. You've got to like what I look like. So I don't think I look that. I don't wear a ton of makeup even when I do wear makeup. So it's not like some people where I know they take off their face and they really do look different. You're like, whoa. And not that they're ugly or anything, but they look very different because of how they do their makeup. And, they put foundation and all that kind of stuff. And I don't do any of that. So I saw Breakthrough. Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah, some people in our lives, sometimes especially if they come back into our lives, if we knew them a long time ago and they come back into our lives, we certainly aren't the same people that we were 20, 30 years ago. Nobody is. They're not going to be either. But we do have a certain expectation of who that person is based on our previous interactions. And if they only ever knew who you were as a child or who you were pre-trauma, or pre uh, pre-disability or oh God, I'm losing the word that I just always had words like this, and this, and I'm totally losing them now, guys. But yeah, you may have certain things that just aren't the same, and they need to know that, and they might not if they are relying on how you used to be. Oh, that's wonderful. Shannon, you hug that best friend next time you see them. That is a true best friend. They've stuck with you through a lot. That's wonderful. And Misha, it's so hard for us to look at ourselves and think we're not where we want to be. I 100% get that. I bet we all do. It's not easy to not be in that place where you want to be, especially knowing you're like, it's possible. Change is possible. I'm just not there yet, or I don't know how to get there, or whatever it is that's stopping you from not being there. And a lot of times it was just my own mental ants and healing that I had to do in order to be able to pop my head above that water. That would be awesome, Izzy. That would be awesome. Yeah, because when someone said mask, that's the first thing I actually thought of, was people either with ADHD or people with autism. I know they mask a lot as well. I'm thinking of adult autism. I was speaking with somebody about it and how much goes on with that in order to fit in. And I think that and so we all do that in different areas. And it had forced me to think about myself and to go, what are the masks that I've put on over the years? What are the things that what masks can I take down if I still had them up? Or what are ones that can change? Maybe it could be kind of semi-transparent. Maybe they don't need to be totally opaque. Different ways of dealing with them. I totally get it. I totally get where you're at, Misha. And it's a hard place to be. And and the best that I can say, for me, having gone through the feelings that you're going through, totally different situation, I would imagine, but you get up the next morning and you try again. That's the only thing. As I always told myself, okay, tomorrow is a new day. Maybe today I can make something to happen differently, or maybe something will happen differently. Somebody else comes into my life, or something happens that changes something, and just keep getting up that next day, and keep working at it. Izzy, I would gladly meet that weirdo soccer mom. Gladly. Well, guys, I hate to bust anybody's bubble, but I am fading. I've been up since 4:30 and I worked a 12.5-hour day, so I'm going to get to bed soon, actually, and put as many hours in tomorrow as I can, because I'm not sure if there's going to be. We'll see. So I am going to bid you all adieu and bid you a good night. And I can't wait to talk to you guys all on Saturday. And Izzy, I will definitely get over to your channel probably first thing in the morning, because like I said, I am fading tonight, and I know that I'm going to have about as much time to put on some music and go to bed. And Crystal, I'm so glad that you do feel that you can be yourself here, because it is what it's about, and because we've all been there, We've all had different experiences, yet we all get it, you know? And that's the wonderful thing about making these connections. It's oh, I'd be a wine mom if I could. Definitely. I don't like to drink alone though. I definitely don't. I'll be the only one drinking, but if there's somebody else there still, but I don't do it. I'm just not an alone drinker, I guess. I don't know. But guys, much love. Mwah. I'm so glad that you guys stopped in. I'm so glad I got to see each of you. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday. If there's anything in particular that you want to talk about on Saturday, let me know. Either drop it in the comments or drop me an email. I haven't set anything in stone yet. I'm trying to get through the next few days of work actually and figure out what I need to do there and try and get that stress level down. And probably Friday night I'll be working on what we're going to do on Saturday. So, but if you have anything, let me know. If you haven't, hit that like button before you pop off. And if you can leave a comment at some point in time, I guess that helps the algorithm push these out forward. And I actually had a weird comment and I had to look it up what it meant. It was just like the series of letters. And it's the YouTube bot who is putting a comment in so it helps promote your videos. They go to videos that they think could use a boost. How they decide that, I haven't a clue. But when did it to one of my videos? It was so weird. So, yep, and check your subscribe status. You know, I always say that whenever I hit a like, I'm always checking my status, just because I know our numbers have dipped. Not many, but just in case there are any of you, want to make sure that you guys are at least getting notifications, even if it's the same day that I'm putting them out. But rest assured, I will be here Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. I love you guys so much. You really have given me a purpose and a reason for moving forward in my life. And I can't thank each and every one of you enough for that. So have a great evening. Remember that you are strong, you are loved, you are valuable, you are worthy, and you're never alone. Hugs and love, guys. Hugs and love. We'll talk to you later.